Hi, it's Bruce. It's Sunday, May 18th, and we're gearing up for the Tonys, and at this point, this week, and for the next 3 weeks, I'm a bachelor. My spouse, Bill Russell, who wrote the book and lyrics for Sideshow, is in Washington, D.C., because they are doing the revised version there that they did in La Jolla, but they're doing a lot of work to it. There's some new songs and rewriting the book still. They're having a great time redoing it and putting on at the fabulous Eisenhower Theater at Kennedy Center. It's going to be a real treat to go there in a month. I've seen 5 shows, and I'll talk briefly about them because I also want to get to the Tonys a little bit. I saw a farce called The Heir Apparent by David Ives, directed by John Rando, fabulous director. It's Fast and Furious. It's based on an old, around the period after Moliere farce. It's all in rhyme couplets. And a very funny performance by David Patu, especially in a smaller role, and Carson Elrod. It was very funny. I think, to me, it was a little bit pushed and forced farce sometimes, and but people were really loving it. I think I didn't bring my A game as an audience to it, but I did enjoy it. But it's closed. We saw one of the last performances. Another show that was sort of fast and furious, not to always the best effect, but I did like it, Bullets Over Broadway, which did not get nominated for Best Musical Tony, much to the chagrin of probably everyone in Bullets Over Broadway, because I thought it was quite fine. Susan Stroman directed and choreographed, and I liked the book by Woody Allen. I thought it was quite funny. The score is, well, you don't want to call it juke. It's 1920s jukebox. There's songs like They Go Wild, Simply Wild Over Me, A Broken Heart for Every Light on Broadway, Up a Lazy River, She's Funny That Way. I like Zach Braff as the lead, and Nick Cordero is up for a Tony for supporting, for being the gangster playwright who helped Zach Braff have a hit. In fact, basically, if you know the plot of Bullets Over Broadway, spoiler, the better writer is the gangster. So I give it like 3 out of 4 stars. I quite liked it. A lot of people are kind of mean to it. I liked it better than, on a whole, Bridges of Madison County. Let's confess, the only reason I went to see the Cripple of Inishmaan is Daniel Radcliffe. Love Daniel Radcliffe. But I really enjoyed the show. I love Martin McDonagh's plays. This is an early piece. It's being revived simply because Daniel Radcliffe can do it. But it's more of an ensemble piece. I wish he would have gotten the Best Actor nomination, but this year I don't think they were withholding it. His last 2 plays, I actually think they sort of withheld a nomination from him. But this year, the Tony male lead category is so full that I can see why he didn't make it. But it's heavily Irish accented. If that bothers you, don't go. It's about a little small town and the little crippled guy, Daniel Radcliffe, who wants to get out of it, and his dream is to become a Hollywood actor because they're filming a movie in a town way over, so he goes to try to get in the movie. And it's quite a fun play for having the word cripple in the title. They say that that was a hard sell. I read an article saying, try to sell tickets to the Cripple of Inishmaan for people. Just put Daniel Radcliffe's picture up there. Okay, now a play I did like, and in fact I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, is CASA VALENTINA by Harvey Fierstein, who's won every writing and acting Tony you can get. He could win again this year, but I'm not so sure. But he's got a chance, because it's a wonderful play about a group of straight men in the 50s who dress as women. They're transvestites, and this is based on a true story. There was an inn, bed and breakfast sort of place that you could go for the weekend and just dress as a woman, and all the men left their wives at home if they were married and went up there, and it was their way of getting that part of their personality free. Quite an interesting play, a lot of political things in it. One of the most interesting things is the whole movement of the transvestites trying to be acknowledged is that they didn't like homosexuals. They didn't like drag queen homosexuals, and they actually, a lot of them discriminated against gays. So it's got a lot of various political things that are kind of historically amazing. I do highly recommend CASA VALENTINA. It's at the Manhattan Theater Club, the Samuel J. Friedman Theater. And yesterday, because I'm a bachelor and I went by myself, I went to see the Carole King musical. Beautiful, because I grew up with all that music. And then in the when she wrote the Tapestry album, that was like the album for years, and that's all you listen to. Honest to God, I can sing all those songs by heart. But the first, almost 3/4 of the show is the story of Carole King and her husband writing in the like the Brill Building, where they had the offices where you just turned out hits or songs, hopefully hits, and a lot of that for the Shirelles and the Righteous Brothers, and Carole King, from the age of 16, was writing there. And that part is fascinating, and all that music is what I used to listen to on, okay, you young people, I had a thing called a transistor radio, and it was about this big, and it was white, and you put batteries in it, and you could listen to all the radio stations, and you didn't have to plug it in. It was magic. So I shed a tear here and there because this music was coming back. Jessie Mueller is wonderful as Carole King, and Jared Spector, let me just check, I don't want to get Jared's name wrong, because it's my first time. Jared Spector plays Barry Mann, because they also go through the music of Mann and Weil, who were writing at the same time. They were friends with Carole King, and they all wrote hit songs. But the guy that plays Jared Spector is up for a Tony, and he's wonderful. I could barely take my eyes off him. He was so funny. All right, so Beautiful gets about 4 out of 4 stars. So does Casa Valentina. Cripple gets 3.5 out of 4 stars, because I'm not sure if the play is that great as far as some of his other work. Bulls Over Broadway gets 3, and Heir Apparent gets 2 3/4, because I wasn't into farce that day. But that's my fault. All right, but I didn't hate anything. Let me just briefly go through some of these Tony categories. I haven't seen All the Way. I haven't seen Violet. I'm going to All the Way next week. I'm planning on seeing Violet. I haven't seen Raisin in the Sun. So, in Best Play, I believe it's, without having seen it, just hearing about it, I think All the Way, the play about LBJ, will probably win. If not, I'd love to see Casa Valentina win, because I thought it was a really strong play by Harvey Fierstein. Musical, now here's where I'm completely in the minority. I didn't care for Gentleman's Guide for Love and Murder. It will probably win. The other 3 nominees I liked better. After Midnight, with brilliant work by the director-choreographer Warren Carlyle. Aladdin, with wonderful work by director-choreographer Casey Nicholaw. Both those director-choreographers I happen to know. They're wonderful. And Beautiful, the Carole King musical, which I liked, as I said, a lot. I would personally be happy if Aladdin or After Midnight won. That's how much fun I had at Aladdin. Gentleman's Guide left me cold, but supposedly it may win. All right. So that's Play a Musical. Revival. I would like to see 12th Night, but I think it might be Glass Menagerie, which I would also like to see, because they were both wonderful. But 12th Night was very special, having that British cast come over. So either one of those, I think. I have not seen Hedwig and the Angry Inch. That's probably going to win Best Musical Revival. Bill wants to see it, so I can't go see it alone. That one, he'd kill me if I went to see it without him. So Hedwig is a shoo-in from what I hear. Actor in a play, a shoo-in supposedly for Bryan Cranston, who I'm seeing next week, so I can tell you more about that. I don't even think competition comes close to him. Although Tony Shalhoub was wonderful in Act 1. Oh, God, he was so good. Actress. Well, if it's not Audra McDonald, I'm going to be furious. I know it will be her 6th Tony, but Audra McDonald in Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill is one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. She's just brilliant, and she's brilliant for 90 minutes, and she just doesn't stop being brilliant. Her big competition is Cherry Jones for the Glass Menagerie, but honest to God, I like Cherry Jones a lot, but I would be furious if Audra loses. Just like I was furious when American Idiot didn't get a Best Musical nomination. I never got over it. All right, Neil Patrick Harris will probably win Best Actor in a Musical, although until he opened, it was pretty much a shoo-in for Jefferson Mays. So Jefferson Mays, I would now call him like a dark horse over Neil Patrick Harris. But we'll see when they open the envelope. I haven't seen Neil myself, but, you know, that's all anybody is talking about. Actress in a Musical. It's a three-way racehorse for three-way race with these horses. Sutton Foster, Jessie Mueller, and Kelly O'Hara all have a great shot. I think it was Kelly's to lose until Bridges is closing, and I saw Jessie Mueller yesterday. And I'll tell you, Jessie Mueller grabbed that audience, and people just loved her, and I thought she was wonderful. And I hear Sutton Foster's wonderful, but I haven't seen Violet. So my money without seeing Sutton is on Jessie at the moment. I'm going to try to see Violet before the Tonys. Featured actress in a play. I have not seen Raisin in the Sun, and that's 2 of the actresses. I think Celia Keenan-Bolger has a shot for Glass Menagerie, or the 2 actresses from Raisin who I haven't seen. I can't even predict this one. I'll predict Celia Keenan-Bolger because I saw her, but I'm not predicting a shoo-in. Featured actor in a musical. Oh my God. 5 people who are all brilliant. Our friend Danny Burston in Cabaret, Nick Cordero in Bullets, Joshua Henry in Violet, who I haven't seen, but I hear he's brilliant, James Monroe Englehart in Aladdin, and I saw an understudy, but I know he's wonderful. And Jared Spector, who I saw, who's brilliant yesterday in Beautiful. Englehart, from what I understand, even though I didn't see him, I saw the understudy, will probably take it. And what fun Aladdin was, so I will be happy. But any of those 5 that's the strongest category. Everybody's like, you can name anybody there. Featured actress in a musical. I didn't see Linda Emond, but in Cabaret, but I think she could win. And Lena Hall, I haven't seen in Hedwig. I hear she's wonderful. I think it's between those 2. I didn't see either one of them yet. All right. So that's a little wrap-up on the Tonys, and I wish I could be more specific and be more knowledgeable about that, but I'm not. What can I say? I'm a little slow this year. All right. Get your tickets to Beautiful and CASA Valentina. Those are my 2 picks of the week. Have a great time at the Tonys, and I'll see you after.